Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, the new drug today is we made it. Football season is here in earnest. Frangie, Carlyon, La Selva with you. Glad you're with us on this Monday installment. Always brought to you by our friends at The Best Bet. The best around. Best place to have a big time is to head to The Best Bet. Man, all kind of fun stuff going on there, including Event 3 of that Summer Swing Series. That's this week at Best Bet Jacksonville. 4 flights start on Thursday. $100,000 no-limit hold'em, $300,000 guarantee event. It wraps up on September 1st on Best Bet Live. I mean, there's so much good stuff going on, so thanks to our friends at The Best Bet. We'll get ready for football season, and they'll always be having all those games on at The Best Bet, I promise you that. Frangie, Carlyon, La Selva, history was made. Carlyon went wire to wire. Listen, I wasn't alive when DiMaggio hit 56th Street. I wasn't alive for that, okay? But I was alive for Ripken, okay? I was alive for Ripken and Carlyon. I'm not sure which I'm going to go with first. What a record, wire to wire. I'll tell you who's not happy. The Miami Dolphins are not happy.
No.
Okay? That's who's not happy.
Mercury Morris.
Mercury Morris, God rest his soul, is not happy.
You wouldn't think the older guys know like the latest profanity, but boy, they do.
Yeah, they were not happy
My
with you.
My goodness, the text that I've received.
Yeah, so congratulations.
Sorry for, trying to win.
For the first time in legendary Loser Monday history, you have gone wire to wire undefeated. Undefeated.
Thank you, gentlemen.
I
was going to bring champagne in, but I was told that that's against FCC rules.
All right, so congratulations. Hayes goes wire to wire. It was not quite as good a finish for JJ La Selva out of North Ocala. I might have
Loser of the year, JJ.
And I might have pointed this out earlier to Hayes Carlyon, who hails from the Bowl School, that at one point I had 3 losses, you had 1, Hayes had 0. So I was down 2 with 3 to play.
I'm on a streak.
You might have had a little bit of a Tommy Fleetwood-like finish.
Listen, the nice woman at Bono's, I just walk in and she's like, "Yep, I got you." I used to over-explain myself, like, "Listen, I'm with the Frangie radio show." But now it's just like, "Hey, welcome back again.
Good to see you again." So.
I mean,
did you give her a hug today? Because you're free for 6 months.
That's right.
True. I will miss going. The people at Bono's are amazing, by the way.
Yes,
but
they are.
They really are.
I mean, that's what I hear.
All right. Well said. Well played.
So the funniest part was that, you weren't here on Friday, Frank, but
right.
Hovland was in dead-ass last place going into the weekend. And so I was up 7 or 8 shots. I was feeling myself, man.
Right.
And Rory decided 16 and 17 on Saturday. I'm going to bogey both those in and completely phone it in on Sunday.
Yes,
and
sir.
by the second hole on Sunday morning, Hovland was already in the lead, and I was like, okay, it's over now.
When your text came out yesterday, I got a chuckle. JJ says, "What do you guys want? This is unbelievable," or something like that, which was tremendous. So.
And then we see my boy Rory McIlroy last night in New York, Flushing Meadows for the U.S. Open.
Right. He didn't even care. He wasn't even trying.
He did not care.
He wasn't trying.
All.
He went from Atlanta to New York.
The plane was gassed up, ready to go. Man.
I set that up for him. It's the least I could do.
Congratulations, Hovland and Hayes. That was a phenomenal year for you. Congrats.
Thank you.
And I will tell you, I've yet to be the loser of the year. I've never won the hat. And that's all I've got left to brag about. But so I'm going to brag about it. So there is that. But it was a lot of fun. I will say this. The one, apart from loser money, which is way more important than the other stuff. Let me be clear about that.
Right.
I believe Fleetwood was talking about it in his post.
Yeah, there's no question.
This is for Frangie.
Yeah, that's right. But
Great pick, by the way.
Well, I will say this. When we all picked, listen, I led the league in losing most of the loser Monday season, but I felt like there wasn't much chance I was going to Bonos. Just, I'm serious. The way he's been playing.
Yeah.
Now golf, you never know. You can have that one round, but I said he's probably going to collapse at 4:00 on Sunday, but he's probably going to be there. I mean, he's been playing pretty good stuff. But I will say this, apart from our loser Monday magic, and that's what it is, what a great end to the golf season. The one flaw will be it's hard for me to think the champion of the golf season is the guy that won for the first time when another guy won 5 times and won 2 majors. That's the champion of the golf season. But that's okay. I thought it was a great finish. Once again,
And Scheffler is going to win Player of the Year.
Of course.
I mean,
but there shouldn't even be a vote.
Yeah. So I mean,
there can't even be a vote
in the record book. He really is going to be player of the year, and yes, Fleetwood will have won the playoff. But
Were you guys like me that obviously loser money had been decided? Were you like me that did you just cringe when Scheffler hit it in the water on 15? I hated it.
I wasn't watching it.
Oh, I was.
I for whatever reason, I didn't get to watch. Like JJ texted me a couple times, and when he texted me, I had no idea what was going on. I just had a bunch of friend stuff going on this weekend, and so I didn't get to see a ton of it. I by the time I was driving home when Scheffler put it in the water, so I was listening to it on radio. But then once I got home, I saw the.
Were you watching, JJ?
Yeah, I was, and I really wanted Scheffler to make it close.
Me too.
If he doesn't get the ball wet, he probably does,
because he birdied the next hole.
Right, the hardest on the course.
Yeah. So he made the double when he hit the ball in the water. I'm thinking if he just pars that hole, I'm not sure he doesn't win the damn thing. But it was a great golf. So all right, football is what we're here to talk about first and foremost. The Jags. You've seen some of the cuts coming in. Jeremy Fowler just reported John Wolford has been cut. He reported also DeAndre Prince. You know by now that Fred Johnson was traded back to the Eagles. So tomorrow at this time, obviously it'll all be announced, and you'll know all the details of what the Jags did or didn't do. And so we'll certainly get to all of that. The Jags played the Miami Dolphins, and we'll give you some thoughts about that, and then about who played well and who did. I will say this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't add up to anything. It's just whatever. But I will tell you that for about a quarter and a half, those Jags third-teamers were handling the Dolphins. I mean, at the end of the first quarter, they had twice as many first downs, way more yards. It's one quarter of and maybe Miami wasn't paying attention, but that was bizarre.
Can you imagine if that happened here?
Oh,
the reaction.
I can imagine.
The panic.
I can imagine on WQAM this morning in Miami.
And there probably is, but they have enough to where they
got
might
other stuff.
be distracted by other things. Like, if that had happened here, I mean, it makes what happened in the Pittsburgh opener, I mean, times 100.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, because you're 3 weeks further in, and you're going against guys that aren't going to be in the NFL. And they didn't have Tyreek Hill, but you've got, Tua, and you've got Waddle out there. And, I mean, I was shocked at how inept the Dolphins look. They might be headed towards just awful season.
Yeah, so no question about that. So we'll talk about that. So a lot of things to get to today on the program. I do want to clear up something. We did Duval Rundown today, and you asked me a question about the running backs, and I gave you my answer. Your question was, of the 4 running backs, they all make the team. We all know that. We all expect that. Who might be down in the Carolina game? And I said, I think it might be Bashal Tutin. Now, at the end of the year...
Which is what Ballou said on Friday.
Yeah.
So you're not alone in that.
Yeah. So at the end of the year, I think he may get the most carries, but I think LaQuinn Allen might be their third down back. The 2 veterans have played football, so they're going to start the season. So the point was, I think there's a chance. I don't think they know yet, but there's a chance at least to start the season. Bashal Tutin, they're all on the team, but he may be the inactive guy. You would have thought on Twitter that I said they're cutting him, sending him to Siberia. And so just so I rarely clear up stuff on social media, but just so you know where kind of we are, all 4 guys are on the team. I have no idea who's going to be down, but if you asked me to guess, I would guess that Tutin will be down first for all those reasons we just talked about.
Yeah, and like I said, Ballou and I talked about that on Friday's episode, and he said Tutin. And you could tell, like, when he said it, he was like, "Boy, I'm gritting my teeth." Yeah,
I think they will
because
too.
It's and that's the thing. I think it'll be LaQuinn Allen, but that's why I was surprised that Liam said it, that only 3 are going to be active on game day, even if that's traditionally what you'd like to do. I think because of the 4 and the qualities that they bring, I'd like all 4 of them to be active on game day if possible. I just think it makes the Jaguars harder to defend. But I think if you had to sit one, you would sit LaQuinn Allen and let Etienne do
the third
down stuff.
And that's what we'll have to find out. And by the way, my guess is with Liam and the coaches, that might change 3 or 4 times between now and when the Carolina Panthers get to town. What you know is, in all likelihood, the 4 are going to be on the team.
Right.
And the 4 are all going to help the team win games this year, and they just have to...
And who knows who calls in the next, 24 hours. Maybe somebody calls for Bigsby or Etienne and makes you an offer that you feel like, look, this is one we need to take.
Yeah, I still would be a little surprised if that happens, but anything could happen. So we'll talk about the 53. You wrote a column about what you think the 53 will be. We'll talk about the Jags, why Fred Johnson got traded. why some of the cuts that are coming in now are cuts, if indeed they're correct, they're being reported. The team, I don't think, is going to talk until tomorrow afternoon. I don't think you're going to see the team announce anything until tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk all about the Jags, the 53. But we are here. College football week is here. Cut down week is here. We made it. That's the news of the day. We made it to the real football season. And between now and the middle of February, we have real football. That's pretty doggone exciting, isn't it? I mean, of all the other stuff, we made it through as of this, starting this week, Monday, the 25th of August. From this week until the second week of February, we have real football. That's pretty cool.
It's glorious.
It's glorious. It really is. So glad you're with us on the Best Bet Monday. We'll talk Jags cuts, where we think it's headed, the 53 and more after this. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
The best place to get trucks is Nimnick Chevrolet. But did you know Nimnick Chevrolet is way more than just trucks? While most dealerships are running low, Nimnick has the largest inventory of new Chevy SUVs in town right on their lot. With low promotional rates, now is the time to save big on the most popular Chevy SUVs like the all-new redesigned Equinox. Plus, with cash incentives and Nimnick savings, you'll save thousands only at Nimnick. If you're looking for better fuel economy or just need a little more room for your growing family, Nimnick Chevrolet's wide range of models ready to drive means you'll find exactly what you're looking for at Nimnick. So head to Nimnick today. Of course, it's the best place for trucks. When you go to Nimnick, it's way more than trucks. It's great SUVs as well. So head to Nimnick today. Where's the best place to get cars, trucks, and SUVs? Nobody but Nimnick.
Win or lose, nothing's off limits for us.
Picken and Prosser on the live Swamp Sessions podcast right after every Gator football game.
We'll bring out insight, analysis, and Gator passion.
Live stream from Voodoo Brewing Company.
1010XL social channels.
Driven by Atlantic Infinity.
Chelsea here from Renewal by Anderson. You've seen and heard our ads where I talk about Renewal by Anderson's exclusive Fiberx material, twice as strong as vinyl, incredibly energy efficient, and custom built to fit your home perfectly. But if you haven't reached out yet, August only, Renewal by Anderson is offering triple savings. $300 off every window, $825 off every patio door, plus 0 down, 0 payments, and 0% interest for 12 months. Schedule your free consultation today at bestwindowsflorida.com. License number CGC 1527613.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, visit AA Automotive on Richard Street. For oil changes to complex repairs, AA Automotive is a full-service repair shop for personal and commercial fleet vehicles. Trust AA to keep your ride running A-OK.
Listening that fits your schedule perfectly.
Absolutely brilliant.
Go on demand.
Ad-free shows after the live shows end.
How about that? Channel 5.
Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Search where you find podcasts.
Registration for this year's Flounder Pounder Fishing Tournament, benefiting the Jacksonville School for Autism, is now open. The best fishing tournament in the 904 is returning to Palm Valley Outdoors Saturday, October 11th. Find tournament info at flounderpounder.com. Don't want to fish? Come watch the weigh-in and enjoy the festivities at Palm Valley Outdoors at the base of the 210 Bridge. Thanks to all the sponsors and anglers for making this tournament great year in and year out.
Jacksonville. Disrupted is here. From the PGA's cutting-edge Tourcast to game-changing sports science, technology gets its spotlight. The 27th of August. Get your tickets at disruptitfl.com.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast, but Terminix subtracts them faster because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carline here to let you know about my new obsession, Daisy French Onion Dip. If you love eating dips with chips, wings, and veggies while watching football, you'll love new Daisy French Onion Dip and Daisy Ranch Dip. These are game changers. They're as delicious as a homemade dip made with real herbs and spices and other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. You've got to try them. Once you do, you'll be hooked. Look for Daisy French Onion Dip at a grocery store near you.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
How about this? Labor Payday is Monday, September 1st, 1 to 11 at all those Best Bet locations. St. Augustine on 95, Jacksonville here on Monument Road, and, of course, US 17 in Orange Park. Come grab your piece of the $3,000 high hands every 60 minutes. With a royal reset in the first 30 minutes, head to Best Bet today. Glad you did. You'll be awfully glad you did. Frangie and Carline, JJ LaSelva with you as we continue along here. All right. Fred Johnson traded. My take. When they brought him here, it was with an opportunity to be the swing tackle. I think he got beat out. I think Cole Van Lanen, had he not gotten hurt, was going to be the swing tackle. So Fred now was not going to be the swing tackle. As for tackle depth, I think that, and they got a good look at him in the New Orleans game. He started at right tackle when Anton Harrison wasn't available, so he started with the ones. Then he played the rest of the game with the twos when the ones came out of the game at left tackle. So they've seen him at right, they've seen him at left. I think what they would tell you is that Fred just was inconsistent. Good one play, bad the next. Good one day, bad the next. Just up and down. Just did not have a consistent performance days. I think that would be the storyline with Fred Johnson. I believe that's kind of where they are with him. Van Lanen was ahead of him. I think there's also a belief that there's other guys there's a lot of guys on this team that have played tackle. Patrick McCary has played tackle. Chuba Edoga was the swing tackle in Dallas last year. Wyatt Milam played tackle in college. Even if all three of those guys are ticketed to be guards in the NFL or for the here and now, they've all had experience in tackle. Van Lanen is your swing tackle, I would imagine, when healthy. There just wasn't a spot for Fred. I think they got him. They brought him in here. He wasn't everything they had hoped. He got beat out a little bit. It wasn't a lack of effort. It wasn't a lack of getting along with or working at it. I think that's just what happened. In the meantime, Philadelphia probably had a need. Whatever he did as their swing tackle worked. Why not bring him back? The Jags save a little bit of money. They get a draft pick. And by the way, one thing about this Jags staff, they proved it with Monheim and Allen. They believe in those seventh-round picks. They believe the seventh-round picks can become something. So I was surprised because I didn't think Fred Johnson was going to get traded, but I'm not surprised knowing that he wasn't in their plans as camp kind of played out.
Well, and I think it's a good sign, too, that when a signing doesn't go as planned, and not that this was an expensive one,
right,
but when it doesn't go as planned, you've got enough of a talent in terms of your eye for talent that you're able to then get something back for the player. And so, again, it's a 7th-round pick from the world champs. So, I mean, obviously it's probably going to be towards the back end of the 7th round. But, yeah, I mean, you have to like what you've seen so far in Monheim and Allen. And, so who's to say that James Gladstone can't find a contributor with that selection? And, again, this goes back to if he was going to be released, better to get something for him. And again, it speaks to Gladstone's eye and his staff's eye that he was able to, pick a player that would have value somewhere else, because that doesn't always happen here. A lot of times the players that former regimes have signed, when it doesn't work out, no one wants them. No one certainly wants to give up anything of even, minute value like a late round pick. So, it was good. And to your point, they've got so many guys. They should be able to get away with having 9 on the 53 because of the versatility that the group has as a whole. And the other thing, too, is not that he was coasting, but when you're inconsistent, I think there is a hint of coasting to that, because inconsistent is something you can control as a player. Like, you shouldn't be this far into your career and inconsistency be an issue. That's a want to. The consistency is probably 80% effort and 20% your talent. And I like the fact that they weren't going to let him coast here. And so not that, I'm not saying that that's exactly what the problem was, but it's more speaking about players in the past that we know were coasting here that was allowed to go on for way too long.
Now, what will have, the one question I do have is about the number and volume. Because as I think about this, if you have 9 and they're all healthy, you're good to go, particularly because of the versatility of so many of the 9. But what I don't know is how long Cole Van Lanen's down. He hasn't practiced in a while. How long Wyatt Milam's down. He hasn't practiced in a while. You can't go into a game with 7. You can't. So do you keep Javon Foster on your practice squad and then elevate him? You can elevate him 3 times, a normal elevation. Do you do that? Do you find another tackle or guard? That would be my only question is, or are both guys back by Carolina? That I don't. If Van Lanen and Milam are both back, you don't have to worry about that. But that does I question the number a little bit. So having said that, as we look to tomorrow when they are going to have their 53, you did a great job. I'll go quickly through it. Correct me if I'm wrong. You took the 2 quarterbacks, Trevor and Mullen, the 9 offensive linemen we just talked about, all 4 running backs. You kept them. All 3 tight ends. We know who those guys are. It's Longmont and, of course, Brenton Strange. 4 receivers. Did you keep a 5th receiver?
I didn't. I only kept 4 because I want Ransaw to be on the initial 53, and possibly you might need this for Monteric or Milam or Van Lanen. So I only kept 4 receivers because I need those couple spots for a player like Ransaw who isn't. You need to have him make the 53
and then put him
on IR. So because of that, I was like, why would I keep Trammell and Brayboy when I can just keep 4 and then have 24 hours to further maneuver?
Yeah, they will play the season with 5 or 6 wide receivers on their roster.
They'll pick up,
but that doesn't mean to your point that they'll have them on Tuesday. So we'll see. But we have a pretty good idea what the offensive group will look like. I do. My guess is the 5th receiver is not here now. I think Austin Trammell is the 5th best receiver in camp, but he's an awful lot like the other guys. He's not. They want something. I would think you'd want something different. A big physical guy that's a special teamer. So I would think they're going to try and find that. We'll see. Brayboy is that. He just hasn't played. Didn't even have many catches in the preseason. So I would. My guess is that'll come from the outside. We will see. The defensive line, obviously the ends are there. Smoot and Ogba will be there. Did you keep B.J. Green on your 53?
I did.
I think B.J. Green might make the team. I think he might be the surprise undrafted guy. You can't have enough edge guys. And if you have a guy that both Denny Strigow and B.J. Green look pretty good, I can tell you they got people's attention. Green looked good again the other night. And that was against ones, by the way. So I think B.J. Green could help them as the 5th edge. I don't do a 53. If I did one, he would be on mine too.
And you have to think again, the GM is different. And this GM is more rooted in authentic football moments, is how James Gladstone phrases it. Well, Green has given you those.
That's correct.
In the preseason. I mean, he has done authentic football things. And so, I would think that would speak, very loudly to the general manager.
Yeah. So he would be on mine too. The outside linebackers, I think Abdullah and Gardeck both make the team. The inside linebackers, Foye Oluwakun's on the team. Ventrell Miller's probably the starter of the weak side, I think. I think both rookies are on the team, Kaiser and Brenton Combs. I think they both make the 53, which makes me wonder what happens with Devin Lloyd. That one's a question for me. Secondary guys, they've already cut Trey Prince, if you believe the reports. There's at least a report on that. Monteric Brown makes it. Jarian Jones, Jordan Lewis make it. Obviously, Tyson Campbell makes it. I agree with you. I would probably list Travis Hunter as an offensive guy, and then the safeties. I think Dewey and Murray start. Then it's interesting. Do they keep Antonio Johnson? Do they keep Darnell Savage? Do they keep Daniel Thomas? Do they keep Rayon Lane? Some collection of that group. We'll see. But I want to go back to Devin Lloyd for a second. That is now the 2 most intriguing things for me is if they keep those 4 running backs in the room, who does not dress the first day? If they said you have to, they're determined to only dress 3. Is it Bashul Tootin? Is it LaQuinn Allen? Is it one of the veterans? The other thing is what happens with Devin Lloyd. I don't think he's had a great camp, but I think he's been as good as he can be. He's certainly not a guy that lacks effort. He's certainly not a guy he's a great guy in the locker room, well-liked, well-respected by everybody. I mean, there's nobody that doesn't like Devin Lloyd. But I don't sense, I don't sense that he's a frontline player for this team. They used him on some special teams a couple games ago. I don't know that he moved the needle. I don't know that. So but he's a first-round draft pick. And he's a guy that has some talent. A first-round draft pick, what happens with Devin Lloyd? Can they trade him? Can they get anything for Devin Lloyd? I don't think they cut him. Do they keep him as a backup? Do they move his position around a little bit? I actually think he's a better pass rusher than anything else, and he hasn't done that much as a Jaguar. Devin Lloyd, to me, and I might be overthinking it, he might just be one of the 53, and he and Ventrell Miller alternated that starting spot, and we move forward. But that's the one that I got a hunch Chad Muma's not on the team. I get a hunch some other guys drafted in similar times. So what happens with Devin Lloyd, at least to me, from my eyes, is an interesting storyline, maybe the most interesting storyline tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Devin Lloyd is interesting in that you were able to get something for Luke Fortner. I have to think you can get something for Devin Lloyd if he's not in the plan. And I'll tell you a team that I think would look at Devin Lloyd and say, all right, you guys don't want this guy? We'll make something out of him. He screams Baltimore Raven to me. I mean, I don't know what their rooms look like and things,
right.
but that's the kind of reclamation project that excites the Baltimore front office. And I could see Baltimore saying, we'll send you a 6th for Devin Lloyd.
Right.
And then he goes to Baltimore and you look up in week 11 and there's Devin Lloyd on Sunday Night Football contributing to a Ravens win. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that, Philadelphia gets a lot of credit for that now, but Baltimore's been doing that for a long, long time. So I would think there would be value in a trade for Devin Lloyd. And so, again, to what extent the pick would be, I wouldn't think it would be overly high, but if you can get something for Luke Fortner, my guess is James Gladstone can get something for Devin Lloyd if he's not in the plan.
If indeed, and right. And the question then, the bigger question is, or is he in the plan? Or is he, we're keeping Foye and Devin and Ventrell and Kaiser, and maybe the Branson Combs is not in the mix. The undrafted, I keep bringing him up. He's an undrafted free agent, but a pretty good player. I mean, he's a guy that is consistently, with people with whom I've spoken, he's gotten their attention. I can tell you Branson Combs has their attention. The two undrafted, well, if you count B.J. Green, the 3 undrafted guys that really have their attention, B.J. Green, Branson Combs, and, of course, Jaquindon Jackson. And I will tell you, Jaquindon Jackson's an NFL running back. I don't know what you do there. I don't think you can hide him. He's an NFL running back. What an interesting story. This is a guy, Hayes, that went to Texas as a quarterback. And it didn't move the needle, wasn't low on the depth chart.
Do you have to be a pretty good athlete to have the Texas Longhorns let
Texas
you play
offered you
there?
to play a quarterback job. So went to Texas, transferred to Utah, was the backup quarterback to Cam Rising, and one of Cam Rising's 38 years there. Okay, but he was the backup quarterback to Cam Rising. Utah said, we think he's a running back, moved him to running back, had a 790-yard season for Utah, realized he had something, transferred to Arkansas, back to where part of the country he's from, and had another 790-yard season, didn't get drafted. I think he's an NFL running back. Do you?
Yes.
I think he's an NFL running back. So what? You got a really good room full of running backs. What do you do?
Well, again, that's a position where we've seen San Francisco is still, even after trading for Brian Robinson, they need help. The Dolphins might need some help. I mean, running back is a position that is pretty thin, I would say, around the league. So it does make you wonder if you maybe trade a Etienne or a Bigsby. But that would be a big youth movement.
Yeah, then you're really young.
One veteran and 3 rookies, but you also don't want to see a talented player go to another club and then you look up and he's become one of the better running backs in this draft class.
As crazy as it sounds,
which he wasn't even in.
Right. As crazy as it sounds, I would be tempted. I know nobody does this, so indulge my dumbness. When I saw that Fred Johnson was gone, meaning they're keeping 9, not 10. If you have one less offensive lineman and maybe you look up in one less D lineman or linebacker, I'd be tempted to keep 5 running backs. Now, I know nobody does that. I know it's crazy, but if you keep him on the 53, nobody else can have him. Even if he's inactive every week, even if 2 running backs are inactive every week, man, I'd be tempted. I would be tempted to find a way to keep him to keep him somehow on the. And again, I don't think they're going to do that. But, man, he's a good player, and I'd be tempted.
Well, they're in position to do it more than anyone else because, really, the Jaguars are playing with 54 spots because of Travis Hunter. because of the fact that they have a two-way player, which no one else has.
That's a good point.
If they wanted to play with the math, I don't think you would do it to protect the running back spot because it's just not of as high a value. But if they are in love with him, I think you could do it. And, because of the fact that you've got Travis Hunter helping you at 2 spots and only counting for 1, that does free up a spot. I used it more on the defensive side. But again, if they feel like that this young man is a big-time running back in the making, then you don't want to see him walk out the door.
There's a lot of years, Jaquindon Jackson, Jaquindon Jackson, the running back, B.J. Green, the pass rusher, and Branson Combs, the inside linebacker, would all be on this team. Now, if none of them are on it, or if some of them aren't on it, that speaks to the fact that the roster's better than you would think, because that's the kind of diamond in the rough that you look up and become pretty good NFL players. I think all 3 of those guys are going to be NFL players. I don't know if they're going to be stars. I don't know if they're going to be Pro Bowlers. I don't know but I think they're all going to be, at some point in their careers, productive NFL. Those 3 guys, Jaquindon Jackson, the running back, B.J. Green, the pass rusher, Branson Combs, the linebacker, all undrafted. I think at some point in their careers, on some team somewhere, will be productive NFL players. We'll see if it happens. All right, so let's take a break. I want to keep it on the Jags. I want to keep it on what we saw the other night, what our expectations are from this team, for guys that we think will be on this team, what we think they'll do. This is going to be all about the Jags. I got a lot of college football to get to. We'll do that next hour, but I want to keep it on the Jags right now. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Hayes Carline for Atlantic Infinity. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise, free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter, and you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor, climate-controlled showroom. It's cool, comfortable, and hassle-free. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites.
This is Hayes Carline for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
It's time for the Plumbing 411 from Superior Plumbing and Pipeline. It's not just annoying when your toilet keeps running long after you flush. It's also costly because it could waste hundreds of gallons of water a day. A running toilet's often caused by worn-out flappers, corroded valves, or a faulty float. Superior Plumbing and Pipelining will fix the problem fast, which can help lower your water bill. Stop the running and start saving today. Make the superior choice when your toilet won't stop running, and learn more at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
Football season is back, baby. Hicken here, and I know I'm excited to get back to watching some ball over the weekend. But with the fun comes responsibility. Taking care of your skin while outside, extremely important. We know it feels like 100 out there, and that sun is blazing. Make sure you bring the screen while loading up all that tailgate. It's simple. Protect your skin. It's the Sunshine State. To help you protect your skin, Beaches Dermatology is here. I've been going to them for years, and my skin thanks me for it. Book your appointment today at beachesdermatology.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I always brag on what you guys have on-road and off-road. But Greg, tell everybody about what's happening on the water, because you got loads of opportunity.
We do. We've got lots of boats in stock. We got the Honda 19-foot Fisher Runabout. We've got the Coach pontoons, all of them with that legendary Honda motor and legendary Honda reliability, which you always want when you're out on the water.
You could be cruising along the Intercoastal or out on the ocean, but check it out. Facebook page ready for all of you to see, Cycles of Jacksonville, or their showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
Right now at Beard's Diamonds, pay $0 down and get 0 interest financing for 5 whole years.
Yes, you heard it right. That $12,000 designer engagement ring is yours now for just $200 a month. This makes everything affordable. How about a $6,000 diamond eternity band, just $100 a month? Say goodbye to high interest rates. Get the relief you deserve at Beard's Diamonds. But hurry, this incredible offer ends August 31st and will not be extended. How about a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, only $50 a month? Make any purchase and spread your payments over 5 years with zero down and zero interest financing. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, colored gemstone jewelry. Let our non-commissioned experts at Beards help you find the perfect piece of jewelry and take advantage of our best financing offer ever. Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center, Jacksonville's premier locally owned jeweler. Shop now and enjoy zero interest financing for 5 years. Hurry, this amazing offer ends August 31st. On approved credit, some restrictions apply. See store for details.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
You know, the best thing about Eddie Money is how rough he looked. Eddie, he used to be a cop.
That's right.
Yeah, did you know that? Eddie Money was a New York City cop?
That's right, yeah.
Did you know that, JJ?
You know, I've actually never even seen what he looks like.
Oh, really? He looks exactly like a New York cop.
He looks like it's been a hard go.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was
I'm waiting for him to pull Mel Gibson and Danny Glover into his office and ream them for causing a lot of trouble in City Hall.
Perfect. Oh, goodness. Frangie, Carline, LaSelva with you as we continue along on this Monday. It's always brought to you by our friends at The Best Bet. We sure appreciate The Best Bet. They do such a great job. I do want to remind you, all the promotional and tournament details are always found at bestbetjacks.com. 3 great locations. St. Augustine on 95. Monument Road is the Jacksonville location, and US 17 is the location in Orange Park. Great people, great fun, great clean family fun. You'll have a fun time when you go in there, so we appreciate our friends at The Best Bet. All right, so let's talk about the Jags who are going to be on the team. Position by position, start with quarterback. The word was out today. It was reported online that John Wolford is not going to be he's going to get cut. I think Jeremy Fowler had that. If indeed that's true, the belief is, I guess they keep 2. Mullins is the backup to Trevor. Seth Hennigan on the practice squad. Is that what you see?
That's what I would think. But I would, depending on, I'll give you an example. The Lions are apparently going to waive Hendon Hooker. Now, I don't know what Liam Cohen thinks of Hendon Hooker at all. I don't know what James Gladstone thinks of him. I can't imagine Hendon Hooker isn't more talented than Nick Mullins. He's somebody that I would be interested in putting a claim in on. And again, I just think athletically, Nick Mullins is good as a backup because certainly he can go in and he can run the operation. And there is a ton of value in that. Don't get me wrong. But I also think he's got really massive limitations in terms of making plays against NFL defenses. And so I wouldn't mind if they took a shot and went after one of these younger quarterbacks that, does have big time athleticism. I don't know why it didn't work with Hendon Hooker in Detroit.
Right.
And he's just an example. But if I was the Jags, I'd be in the market for a backup quarterback upgrade.
If it was, I think it would be a guy that played. I would be more surprised to have seen a Bridgewater or a Jameis Winston than a guy that has upside like Hendon Hooker but hasn't played. So we'll see. But we'll see. But at least for the here and now, it looks like Mullins is their backup. I think Seth Hennigan, I think they like what they saw probably on the practice squad, and you probably can hide him on the practice squad. I don't sense these guys never played and wasn't drafted. I don't think you're going to trade him off. We've talked about running backs. Jaquindon Jackson, someone I think is going to sign him to the roster. Do you agree with that? I sense he's going to make a roster. You don't
I'm
think
always hesitant to predict that because it seems like almost every year we kind of fall into the trap of 7 of these guys the Jaguars are going to cut are going to be claimed by other clubs.
And they're not.
And they just aren't.
No, you're right.
So
Good point.
I'd still put the probability that they can probably get him back to the practice squad. But there is an element of risk. They really didn't play him much in the first 2, if memory serves. So, we'd have to see. But I would put it 70% probability they would get him back on the practice squad. But certainly there's an element of doubt.
And your point's right. We fall in love with the guy because we're in this vacuum and it's the guy we see. And there may be a guy just like this in Kansas City or in Los Angeles. So that's a very good point. All right. Let's go to the defense. We talked about the offensive line enough. The defensive tackles, if Devon Hamilton and Eric Armstead are your starters, your backup nose guard now will be Bink Saunders, Colin Saunders. He's your backup to Devon Hamilton, I would imagine. Your backup 3 technique will be Mason Smith, who got to play a little bit. It was good seeing him on the field a little bit. He's still a big physical guy. That's your first 4. I'm assuming Austin Johnson, who they brought in from Buffalo's on the team. Tyler Lacey has started a bunch for them in the preseason. They could be players 5 and 6. Jordan Jefferson really showed up a little bit against Miami. Made 2 or 3 plays behind the line. We hadn't seen that. Gosh, I feel like there's something there with him, but he hasn't moved the needle at all here. How do you think all that plays out?
Yeah, I've got Jefferson out, and I've got Lacey out. I can't get beyond the fact that this is an administration that halfway through camp signed a player in Austin Johnson,
right,
and then made a trade for Colin Saunders.
Right.
Yeah, and look, Austin Johnson, we talked about it when they signed him. He was a big-time rotational player.
Right,
I mean, it's not like this guy doesn't play. I mean,
is 2 veteran
he was
guys
playing like 35% of the snaps in Buffalo.
Yeah, these are 2 guys that have played a lot of football and give a veteran presence, no question. Now, yeah, I'd be very surprised if Saunders or Austin Johnson aren't on the team. I'm with you there, and there's only so many spots. I can't get beyond the fact that Jordan Jefferson played in the SEC. He was LSU's best defensive tackle 2 years ago. He showed up the other day. He's probably not on the team, but boy, that's a tempting. Boy, you hate to see him be the guy you look up, and he's in the rotation in Minnesota in a year, and you're wondering what, you know what I mean? And then that's part of it, but it'll be interesting to see. We're in agreement that the 4 ends we know about, the starters, Agba, Smoot, you and I at least are in agreement that B.J. Green will be a 5th guy on the team, so we don't need to go any further there, but I think we're in agreement there. We talked about the linebacker situation. By the way, where did you have Devin Lloyd in your 53? What'd you do?
I kept him.
Yeah. Because it's hard to imagine them not, isn't it?
I can't imagine they're going to cut Devin Lloyd.
They're not going to cut a first round. I agree.
Yeah, and so I had him. I'm sure that they are reaching out, would be my guess, to teams that they believe where he might be a fit. If in fact they're worried about, how valuable he'll be with this, this group, this coaching staff. But I kept Devin Lloyd. I mean, I can't cut somebody that's had at least the production and playing time that, and he's still young. So to me, he's got to be on the 53 if they can't deal him.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up our Jaguars segment for today's show, or for this part of the show. We've been all Jaguars today. Knowing what you believe to be the 53, Hayes, and kind of what I believe, and they're pretty close. Where do you believe they're good? Where do you believe the concern is? Where do you believe they continue to look for players? All of that. Let's do that after this. We'll take a break. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's a high-speed chase to the checkered flag.
Off the corner, to the line, the checkered flag is waving.
This Sunday at Darlington.
He's gonna do it!
NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on 1010XL.
It's time to elevate your back-to-school style with luxury and a brand-new Cadillac.
Discover the 2025 Luxury XT6, a spacious 7-seat SUV starting at just $49,195. Perfect for carpooling or weekend adventures.
That's right, or step up your game with the stunning 2026 Vistique, Escalade, and Escalade IQ.
I want to go back to school in style.
You can. Visit us at Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard in Jacksonville. This school year, it's all about style.
Plus tax tag title $9.99 admin fee and resist all on approved credit.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods, a Jacksonville family business for nearly 70 years. Heck, I've been talking about them for over a decade. The Thompson family secret, Dandy's never frozen, always fresh baked bread with quality meats and cheeses, no dry crumbly subs here, only soft and tasty deliciousness. When I see that logo with the little dude with the cane on the label, it tells me I'm getting a trusted brand, a quality sandwich. So do what I do and stop in at a Daly's and make yours a dandy today.
The boys are back in the kitchen.
Don't start the barbecue without me.
Joe, Matt, and Leon give you plenty to chew on during lunchtime. Freshly baked bread from the big #1 Duval Ford Studios.
Thank you for lunch, boys.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit, hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. Your home is your sanctuary where memories are made. Jack's homeowners trust Superior Fence and Rail to make their home feel safe, secure, and complete. Imagine a classic wood fence for privacy, sturdy aluminum to protect your pets, or a modern vinyl design that boosts curb appeal. Every fence is built with precision and pride, standing strong in every season. When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com. Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Proper pronunciation of the name of the song. Case Carolina Hills from the Bowl School.
I have no idea. Their names are for their songs always.
It's like D apostrophe.
Dire Maker.
That's it.
Yeah, it's
Jamaica.
So what is the proper pronunciation of this?
Jamaica.
It is.
Yeah, because you're supposed to say it like the way a British person would say, like Jamaica. Like, did you make her? Like Jamaica?
Look at you.
Or whatever.
That's impressive. I'm around smart people. That's what I do. Surround yourself.
Impressive.
I just knew it as Dire Maker. So there you go.
I only know useless things.
And it's always annoyed me how their song titles have nothing to do with the
Black
song.
Dog doesn't say Black Dog in it.
I can't get beyond it.
Move the way.
It annoys me. Yeah,
it's like that's the one thing about country music, whether you like it or hate it. It's like the name of the song is going to be.
They're like the only band that does it.
Yeah,
like even in rock, there aren't a lot of rock bands that like. You hear a song and you're like, what's the name of the song? And it has nothing to do with anything lyrically.
First time I heard Black Dog, I kept waiting for them to say Black Dog in that song. Never got the, hey, mama, let the way you move. I said, they're going to say Black Dog eventually. If I wait long enough, they're going to say Black Dog. That.
There you go.
Right. I waited the whole song to hear them say black dog. We never got there. So there's that. So thank you for that. Thank you for enjoying my pain with that. The Jaguars, we have a few minutes here. Strongest part of the football team. Right now, the 53, from a personnel standpoint, not culture and coaching and all that. Strongest room, weakest room. Start with that.
I'd say strongest room right now is running back, because I think they've got 4 guys that are going to prove they can all do it at this level. Etienne and Bigsby have already done that to some degree, and I really like Bashal Tootin and LaQuinn Allen. So, I mean, to me, they've got 4 potentially outstanding options there. And, so I would say running back is one that I feel really good about. I obviously feel really good about receiver, because that's just about how top-heavy are you. And to have BTJ, Travis Hunter, and De'Ami Brown, and Parker Washington, with the camp he's had, you feel really good about that room. I still worry about the offensive line, but I understand how they landed where they landed. And I'm actually feeling better about defensive tackle. We just haven't seen them work as a group. So I know that's got to be a source of frustration for the staff. But you do now have, in the last 2 weeks, you've gotten Eric Armstead back, Mason Smith back. You've traded for Colin Saunders, and you signed Austin Johnson. So I think as we get into the season, that unit has come around. I worry about safety because I don't think there's any playmaking there.
Let me go right. I'm going to go feel good about, uncertain about, worried about. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good about. Quarterback. I don't care what other people say. I feel pretty good about where we are at quarterback. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a good player. I feel good. So feel good about quarterback, running back, wide receiver, defensive end. That's my 4 feel good about. And I do have quarterback in there. Whether people agree with me or not, you don't have to agree. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, defensive end. Where I'm uncertain a little bit is linebacker, although I feel good about the middle linebacker, but as a group, where I'm uncertain a little bit, offensive line, tight end, linebacker, cornerback. Feel good about one cornerback, but I don't know how much Travis Hunter's playing the other. So those are my uncertains. The 2 I'm worried about are defensive tackle and safety. So that's where I am. Feel good about quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Okay, I feel good about and defensive end. Question about offensive line, although I think might be good. Offensive line, linebacker, cornerback. Worried about defensive tackle and safety. That's how I would break those down.
Yeah,
in those 3 categories, that's how I'd break those down.
I think it's a good breakdown. And, yeah, I should have included defensive end. Obviously, I feel good about Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker. And I think they've really done a nice job of supplementing those 2 for the first time in a couple of years. I think Ogba and Smoot are good veteran players. And so, obviously, there's going to be a massive drop-off if something does happen to Hines Allen or Walker. But it's not going to, fall off a total cliff like it would have the past 2 years. So, yeah, I feel good about defensive end. And, corner is I'm sort of counting on Travis Hunter playing the lion's share over there, and I'm counting on Tyson Campbell getting healthy. But yeah, if they've got those 2 guys, I feel good about it. If they don't, then it falls apart pretty fast.
So that's where we are. And being that I've got 2 areas that I'm worried about, again, I've got 4 I feel good about, 3 I'm curious about, but I'm not worried. 2 I'm worried about. I would not be surprised to see activity at those 2 spots, defensive tackle and safety. I would not be surprised. Now, again, I think they will bring in a 5th wide receiver. Again, I think Austin Trammell's a good little player, by the way. They just have a bunch of him already. He'd be the 5th wide receiver would be kind of just like a lot of the other ones, whereas short, quick, can return punts, can run jet sweeps, can find holes in his own defense. Well, they got that. I think if you didn't have that, I think he's an NFL player. He's not Cooper Kupp, but he's that kind of player. But because you have that, the big physical high point receiver they don't have, who's also a special teams guy, that's what I think, though. If they go bring something in, I think that's what it'll be. I'll take a break. I'm going to talk some good. Have you heard college football starts this week?
I have.
Did you watch Farmageddon?
I did. I watched most of it.
Watched a little bit of Farmageddon.
Yeah.
College football starts this week. A primer when we come back. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
The Green Bay Packers. This is Hall of Famer Jerry Kramer. Has a nice ring, doesn't it? They won their 4th under Vince Lombardi. And you are listening to 1010 XL.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is now available at the Fresh Market Spirits and Wine. The Fresh Market Spirits and Wine is a new adult beverage store offering spirits, wine, beer, and accessories at A1A North in Ponte Vedra, a first-of-its-kind destination for thoughtfully curated spirits, wine, and beer as only the Fresh Market can. And now, you can get Brackish Vodka at the Fresh Market. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
Friends, we have a very special guest on the line.
The Checkmate Coatings phone line is where the action happens.
Where's the phone? Over there.
Get expert interviews and listener opinions all day, every day, from the drill all the way to Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, or Beaver Mitsubishi in St. Augustine. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione. Campione Law.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Hacker here. You know, those of you that have listened to me for years realize that I used to do a lot of different weight loss things, a lot of different things that I tried that just never worked for one reason or the other. And then Awaken 180 Weight Loss came along, and I heard Mike Dempsey and Matt Hayes talking about it, and I thought, you know what? What the heck? What do I have to lose? I'm going to give it a try. I had low expectations, to be honest, based on previous history, but I learned very quickly that Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the best weight loss program I was ever on. I dropped 19 pounds my first 2 weeks on Awaken 180 Weight Loss, went on to lose over 100 pounds total. I'm keeping the weight off with the Awaken 180 Weight Loss Maintenance Program. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, without a shadow of a doubt, is the best weight loss program I have ever been on, and the results speak for themselves. If it's time for you to lose some weight like it was for me, go to awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. You can do it. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Jaguars football is officially back. Be there as number 2 overall draft pick Travis Hunter, quarterback Trevor Lawrence, and new head coach Liam Cohen take the field for the first time during the 2025 NFL regular season. Secure your seats for when the Jaguars take on the Panthers September 7th by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you at the bank.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Week 1 of high school football began last Friday with some exciting matchups around town. Mandarin defeated Creekside 42-20, St. Augustine defeated Palatka 41-0, and Nice beat Ponte Vedra 38-28. It's officially week 1 of the college football season with some great games ahead. Number 15, Florida versus LIU. Number 8, Alabama and FSU. And number 10, Miami versus 6, Notre Dame. It's 91 degrees at 4:59. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Frangie and Carline, JJ LaSelva with you. College football starts in earnest. Farmageddon behind us. Best I can tell from Farmageddon, the losing quarterback's dad and brother got in a fight after the game.
Yeah, pretty serious fight. That wasn't just a push and a shove. Yeah. That was, I'm going to try and break your neck here in Ireland.
That's an odd thing when your dad and brother get in a fight after the game. That was kind of weird. That was weird.
When first you said Farmageddon, I thought you were talking about UNLV, Idaho State.
Wow.
Because, I mean, that was one for the ages.
Dan Mullen threw up 31 points of defense against Idaho State.
Wow.
The potatoes went up and down the field on him.
Yeah, we may have to amend our projection for Dan Mullen at UNLV.
I mean,
but
they were down most of the game.
Yeah,
they rallied. They came back against the potatoes and rallied late.
Not to take us totally off course. But I thought the Iowa State-Kansas State game was really entertaining, and obviously a lot of miscues, which you would expect in a first game. But
the first half particularly was
it was wet and rainy.
Wow, we waited a long time.
I know. It was rainy.
I'll give Matt Campbell credit because that's guts on 4th and 3.
I know it. It was.
You know, when you can kick a field goal to go up 6, which doesn't put the game away, but now they need a touchdown.
And usually when you try and draw them off and doesn't, and then you call the timeout, then you send the field goal team out. He went for it anyway.
Yeah, got it very easily on a nice little screen.
Almost scored a
to the
touchdown.
Running back. Yeah.
All right, let's start with the Gators. A tough opponent this week. I mean, you just got to hope you somehow survive the Long Island. Are they the Sharks?
They are actually the Sharks.
Okay. When you said that, I thought you were making it up.
I was at the time.
Okay, at the time. I saw a team picture. I think they got like 24 players.
Did you see that? Bad.
Like they got like 24 guys.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah,
like honestly, like when you see it, you're like, the University of Florida is playing this team.
And they got like 24 guys. I mean, so obviously it's a practice game. Yeah. It's the one. In fairness to Florida, it's the only one. USF's not a practice game. USF's coming in there thinking they can win the game. I mean, they may not win the game, but USF's telling themselves they're going to go win in Gainesville.
Yeah, that line's going to be under 30 points.
Yeah, that line will be 17 points. Yeah.
Well, imagine if they beat Boise.
This week. Which they might. Yeah, Boise's like a 6.5 point favorite.
They're going to have tons of momentum.
Yeah, so that game's a real game. This is the practice game. So my guess is in this game, DJ Lagway will start the game. I told Dan this on All Things Gators today, which we released this morning. DJ Lagway will start the game. I'm guessing he'll play a quarter and a half. I think it'll look like the spring game. I think he'll hand off a bunch. He'll throw a couple passes. You hope it's 28-0 and a minute into the second, and then that's all he'll play. I don't think you'll see him on an RPO, keeping the ball and running 25 yards. I think it'll look like a spring game where he's handing off, not doing very much, and everybody else plays in the game. Is that your expectation
Absolutely.
for DJ?
I think it's the closest thing that we see to a college football preseason game.
Yeah, that's right.
Where there will be a lot of similarities from an NFL preseason game where you're playing your starters, but only for, like, to your point, a quarter and a half. I mean, Napier may let him go longer than that because that's pretty early to pull the dogs off. But again, if judging by the team picture is if I'm accurately judging the book by the cover, this could be 35-0.
Are you judging all 24 of their players?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you know, they were 4-8 last year, so it's not like this is a good team anyway.
Right.
And it looks like they've got 50 kids on the roster.
Right.
I mean, I didn't count them, but I mean, it looks like more of a small high school team picture than it does a college.
Well, when you can't get anybody hurt, because I'm guessing Ryder comes calling next week.
Right.
You know, so you got to be ready for that.
That's right.
You know, Ryder next week, Erskine after that. So you have to be ready. So, but anyway, so I think it'll feel like, I would imagine it's like you said it best. It's like an NFL preseason game. Starters play a few series, and then the mop-ups play, and then after I'm going to guess that's how they're going to treat the game.
He may want to see Lagway go into the half, come out, have a drive in the third quarter, but I think that's only if it's kind of sloppy. If Florida is only at this point like up 28 to whatever at that point, but again, if it's what you think, I mean, I'm seeing like all the draft analysts are talking about how much talent Florida has.
Well,
if they've got 4 to 6 players that might get drafted in the top 50, and that doesn't include DJ Lagway,
right?
Then you should be able to name your score.
I told Hicken this today, and I've told you this before. I compare this to the '84 Gators. You have to be old enough to appreciate the '84 Gators, not the Spurrier Gators, not the Urban Gators. The '84 team, I think, was the best team in the country that year. They finished third in the AP poll. They couldn't win the title because they were on probation. They won the New York Times poll, which, by the way, tell Auburn that we get that one. So I thought that team, they had the best offensive line in the country. They called it the Great Wall. That team had tons of NFL players. 3, let me say it again, first-round running backs on that team. And Ricky Nattil, who was either first round or first round receiver. A bunch of defensive guys who were really good pros. So that team. That was they threw it okay, but they ran it at you. They got behind that big offensive line and those big running backs, and they ran. I think this team is more like that team than any Florida team we've seen. So I think they'll be deep. I think you'll see very little this game. So we'll see. We'll talk about it as the week goes on. But it should be an easy one. Stay healthy. Guys like Aaron Gates and that are slow, Dallas Wilson. None of those guys need to play. But I think they need to play next week. We'll talk about that. I've got to tell you this. In the weird sort of way, I am so intrigued to watch Tommy Castellanos. Now, let me explain. Because I really do think he's what Florida – I don't know how good he is, but I think he's what Florida State needs. I will say this. He is the complete antithesis of DJ Uiagalelei. DJ Uiagalelei was 6'5", NFL body, big arm, couldn't run a lick. Tommy Castellanos is about 5'9", is more running back than quarterback, and can throw it a little bit. DJ is the most understated guy. DJ Uiagalelei, I don't know if you remember this or not, didn't even want to go to ACC Media Days. He begged out of respect for guys that had been there before him. He said, these guys have earned it. They've been at Florida State 3-4 years. Let them go. I don't deserve to go. I'm very understated. Can't even tell you any quotes he said. Castellanos couldn't wait to get to Charlotte. He might have driven ahead. He couldn't wait to show up and say, we're going to beat Alabama. He had a feistiness to him. You couldn't be any more opposite, and I think Florida State needs that. I think Castellanos, you saw he broke the rock to end camp the other day. Mm-hmm. Whether he's good or not, and I don't know, but a team that was as miserable as they were last year, they need one alpha dog to be their leader. Now, again, if he's no good, then it doesn't matter. 3 games in, Brock Glenn's playing, right? But, if he's any good, I'm very intrigued at home. And if against a good crowd, against a really good team, a guy that certainly had some moments last year, including against Florida State, I'm very intrigued to see at 3:30 Saturday what he's like. I'm serious about that, what he's like.
Honestly, it's the game I'm looking the most forward to in week 1. It's
I think it is me too. I think it is me too.
But in terms of if I could only watch one game on Saturday, it would be Alabama FSU.
Same. Because I want to learn what do they have.
That's the thing. I never in a million years thought I'd ever live through FSU going 2-10 in a season, particularly coming off of a year in which you won 13. And so it's like, what are they? I think it's over. I think it's headed towards Mike Norvell getting fired at the end of this year, or at some point this year, and Florida State regrouping and trying to make a big hire and reigniting their program. But you can't discount that, well, what if they pull a minor miracle and beat Alabama, and you look up on Tuesday next week and Florida State's 15th in the country. So there are so many great games this weekend. But Alabama at FSU is the number one game for me in terms of excitement to watch.
The FSU released their depth chart. Castellanos is the quarterback. Running back, Roydell Williams, remember him from last year, okay? The other running back, Jalen Lucas, don't know anything about him. The tight end, Randy Pittman Jr., don't know anything about him. Okay. Deuce Robinson, I remember. He's a pretty good player. Squirrel White, I know him from Tennessee. Javon Boggs, I'm telling you, these are key guys.
Yeah, I think Boggs is a true freshman, I want to say. Andrea Adelson tweeted that they're like super excited about.
And I'll learn all this.
So he's a rookie.
But these are a bunch of Daryl Jackson on defense, I remember. I think Daryl Jackson's a good player. I think Earl Little, I remember. He's the rover. He's a pretty good player.
Richie Leonard, the guard.
Yeah. But my point is, I don't know these guys. Yeah. And so, I
thought the same thing.
But I'll say this, I'll give them credit. They need, whether Mike Norvell resuscitates it and does fine and they have a good year, or whether, to your point, they win 4 or 5 games and they fire him, whatever. He needed to bring in an alpha dog because they had none of that. They had none of that. They had no swagger. And Florida State should have swagger. It's Florida freaking State. They should have swagger. They should have swagger when they're bad. Watching them last year, they couldn't wait for the season to end, man. And so you bring in this little feisty little Castellanos guy, okay player, probably pissed off everybody at BC because he kind of quit the team, which you don't want a guy that quit the team, but you want a guy that has enough fire and vinegar that is why he quit the team. Does that make sense? I think they need, if he's good, that now. If he's no good and doesn't help him, and he's playing a really good defense now in Alabama, so you may not see it this week. But I'm like you. I'm very intrigued to see what Florida State runs out there.
I would worry that on Florida State's behalf, I would worry that their offense is going to be incredibly simplistic because I don't think you really have to guard against the pass. And it's not only a Castellanos thing. I don't know that they have receivers that have a route tree. I mean, they've got guys like, Squirrel White that can take a jet sweep and do something with it. And, I'm sure this true freshman's exciting in the open field, and things like that. But do they have somebody that can actually run routes and separate on 3rd and 9? Because if your 3rd and 9 plan is going to be, Castellanos will just take off and get the first down, I don't think this guy is Jordan Travis. I think you're making a mistake. I understand trying to find a player that's similar. But again, the further we get removed from Jordan Travis, the more I see a player that might have been one of the best quarterbacks that we've ever had in this state. I mean, Jordan Travis might be a top 10 all-time quarterback in terms of the big three when you get further removed from his accomplishments and see the disaster that has unfolded since he left. And again, I just think if I'm Kalen DeBoer talking with my defensive staff, why would I not have 10 guys in the box the entire game with a safety in the back and say, look, if you can beat me 25 yards down the field, I'll tip my cap to you and shake your hand. But I mean, we're just going to stay at home, have everybody in the box, and dare you to run against them.
It'll be interesting to see if that's how it plays out. So a lot of fun this weekend. We got a lot of games to talk about. We'll talk about it as we continue on. But let's take a break. Hayes has headlines after this, so stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Denny Thompson stars as the quarterback whisperer.
Everyone agrees that playing quarterback is the hardest thing to do in sports.
He shares his insights Friday mornings on The Drill. Tuned up by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet on 1010XL.
With Lee and Kate's glass, you're gonna see a big difference. For 100 years, service you can trust. Lee and Kate's glass, depend on us. Glass solutions to meet your needs. Reliable quality guaranteed. Complete customer satisfaction. With Lee and Kate's glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie, and I got to tell you, I can't fix anything. I would be so lost with plumbing problems if not for Duck Duck Rooter. But everybody knows to call the Duck. Well, I do too. Whether it's plumbing, air conditioning, septic, they handle all of it, and nobody does a better job than our friends at Duck Duck Rooter. Any of those needs you have, call them today, 904-862-6769, or go to duckduckrooter.com. If you've got problems, call Duck Duck Rooter. They'll handle it. I guarantee it.
I'm Max Fink, and I'll bring you the Gator Report several times weekly to keep you connected to Gainesville.
The Gator Report, put together by San Jose Collision on the home of the Florida Gators, 1010XL.
Go, Gators!
This is Hayes Carline from my friend Holt at Harold and Harold. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident, and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harrell & Harrell make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Welcome to the bundle event. Entering now our undisputed tag team champions, the mid-size SUV and the mid-century modern. Together with a State Farm agent, this auto and home duo are a powerful force of savings, service, and customizable coverage. Now, let's get ready to bundle.
Call State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst in St. Augustine at 904-940-9740.
Availability and amount of discounts and savings vary by state.
Frangie here for Coyle & Son Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports memories. Remember the 2017 AFC Championship game when Miles Jack wasn't down? Do you know what else isn't down? Fences installed by Coyle & Sons. Their fences have been standing tall here in Jacksonville for nearly a century. If you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coyle & Sons today at 904-356-4821 or visit CoyleJacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E Jacks.com. CoyleJacks.com.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carline here to let you know about my new obsession, Daisy French Onion Dip. If you love eating dips with chips, wings, and veggies while watching football, you'll love new Daisy French Onion Dip and Daisy Ranch Dip. These are game changers. They're as delicious as a homemade dip made with real herbs and spices and other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. You've got to try them. Once you do, you'll be hooked. Look for Daisy French Onion Dip at a grocery store near you.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here for Big Chief Tire. If you need new tires, Big Chief has affordable options to fit every budget and every vehicle. Their team of experts will help you find the right tires and make sure they're installed quickly so you can get back on the road. But don't wait. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your appointment and explore their great tire deals. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
Summer's wrapping up, and life is picking back up. Early mornings, long days, and a to-do list that doesn't quit. And neither should you. Who has time to slow down due to body pain? That's why there's Aleve to keep you going. With just one pill, Aleve delivers longer-lasting body pain relief per dose compared to other leading OTC branded pain relievers. Aleve helps keep you moving from sunup to sundown with up to 12 hours of pain relief per dose so you can keep moving and be ready for whatever's next. Use as directed.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here along with JJ La Silva. I am Hayes Carline. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call, 251-1111. Frank, we're going to start with the Jaguars' 53-man roster projection. What's a surprise that you think might be coming in the next 24 hours?
Yeah, that's a good question. If there is a surprise, the cutting of drafted players. I don't think they're going to cut Devin Lloyd, but I think they could trade him. And I don't know. I don't think they're going to trade Bigsby or ETN, but they could. It's conceivable they could trade one of those guys. I think the moving on from a highly drafted player in years past is the closest we'll see to a big surprise. I will say this. There are a number of players that Jordan Jefferson, Chad Muma, Javon Foster, Miles Cole, that were drafted. We already saw Luke Fortner traded.
Trey Prince.
Yeah, Trey Prince is already, if the reports are correct, there's an awful lot of players that the previous regime drafted that I think have a chance to not be on the team. So I don't know if that's a surprise or not, but that's something that's unusual to say the very least.
The Jaguars traded offensive tackle Fred Johnson to the Eagles for a 2026 7th-round selection. What does that tell you about the current state of the Jaguars' offensive line?
Yeah, I think they feel like, number one, I think Fred was up and down. I think he was erratic. I think he had some very good days and bad days. I think he had some good plays and bad plays. I think they had a long look at him, including in that New Orleans game. I think there's depth at tackle. If Walker Little and Anton Harrison are their two starters at tackle, Hayes, and I would imagine that they are, I think Cole Van Lannon, when healthy, is going to be the swing tackle. But then I think McCary Goga, Wyatt Milam. They have a lot of guys who have played tackle, so I think they feel like there's some numbers there. Now, the question becomes volume of guys on the team. If Javon Foster doesn't make the 53, that's 9 guys, and of the 9 guys, at least to some point, Van Lanen and Milam have had injuries in camp. If they're not both back, you can't play with 7. So that intrigues me a bit.
Let's get it to the AFC South. Massive news in Houston this afternoon as the Texans announced that star running back Joe Mixon will be placed on the reserve non-football list with an ankle injury that just will not heal. That takes Mixon out of the team's first 4 games at a minimum, which is significant because the Texans visit Jacksonville in week 3.
Yeah, they got to figure it. Dameon Pierce is still there. He was a great collegian. We saw that. But they got to figure out running back. They brought in Mixon because that was the hole. After last year, 2 years ago, they were very good, but they had a hole there. They brought in Mixon, and it didn't go as well as you might imagine. The Texans are an interesting team. What they're saying in Houston is, hey, we're okay. We play in a bad division. That's what they're saying in Houston because they don't have great respect, I would imagine, for Indy, Jacksonville, or Tennessee. I'll be interested to see what Houston puts on the field this year.
Yeah, it's interesting because Mixon always breaks down. It's normally like he starts great, and then the breakdown comes at the end.
That's
so
correct.
It does make you wonder if Houston is looking at it like, look, let's just get him into Halloween. And if we have Mixon for November, December, and January, that's where you need him. But certainly it won't matter if Houston gets off to a poor start, and a loss here in week 3 would certainly put them in an early disadvantage to the Jaguars. Sticking in Houston, old Gators friend Graham Mertz had a nice day in the preseason finale for the Texans, going 14 of 16 for 145 yards with a touchdown and no picks for a passer rating of 125.3. Mertz also ran twice for 20 yards. Doesn't seem like the Texans beat writers expect the 6th-round pick to make the club, but at least good that he put out some good film.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be on the Texans. I think Graham Mertz will make it in the NFL as a backup. I've said that from day one. I can tell you a scout told me he had a 4th or 5th round grade on him. That was before he even got hurt. I think Graham Mertz he's that guy. He's checked down, average arm, super smart, learns defenses. Everything that they hope Nick Mullins will be here as the backup, certainly Graham Mertz will be in his career. At worst, Graham Mertz will be that in his career. What I think Nick Mullins will be is a backup in Jacksonville. At the very least is what I think Graham Mertz will be.
Let's get it to Tennessee. Titans quarterback Cam Ward, 3 of 4 for 36 yards with no scores and no picks in the preseason finale for the Titans. I would say not really a pretty nondescript first preseason for Cam Ward. Yeah. But again, I just don't think he has any help. Calvin Ridley didn't play, who's like really his only weapon. So I don't really have a good feel for Cam Ward yet. But I have I in terms of a player, but I do like his personality, and I do think he's got a leadership mentality that'll suit a club.
The same stuff I was saying about Tommy Castellanos at FSU. Cam Ward brings a swagger. He brings a presence. I think Cam Ward is going to have a good career. I think it'll be a tough first year. My guess is he's going to make some electrifying plays and some not so electrifying plays. I don't think he's going to be in the middle of the. He's the exact opposite of what I just described in Graham Mertz. I don't think he's a guy that's not going to make a lot of mistakes and not going to make a big plays. I think he's going to do both, particularly on a young team that's going to be a struggling team for a year. Remember, they had the first pick. When you have the first pick, your team's struggling, and I think they'll struggle again.
ESPN's Bill Barnwell had a myriad of trade suggestions that he wrote about this morning. One that caught my eye, none that involved the Jaguars of the 10, but one that I thought was interesting. Barnwell suggested the Colts trade Anthony Richardson to the Steelers for a 4th-round pick. Would you like that move on either side?
I don't see it. I don't know why the Steelers would do it. I think he's just an okay player. And I think the Colts have invested a 4th-round pick, a 4th overall pick, so it's too early to give up. So no, I don't like it either way. When in fairness to Barnwell, you're trying to come up with out of the box stuff that'll get people talking. But I'd be surprised if that. I think the Steelers right now believe Aaron Rodgers plays a year or so. I think they believe they've drafted their guy in Will Howard, and I'd be very surprised. And their placeholder is Rudolph, and I'd be surprised if they wanted Anthony Richardson.
And there's like 6 first-round quarterback possibilities that we know of already.
Right.
There could be somebody that has an unbelievable final year and rises up the boards. But yeah, I wouldn't give the Colts a 4th-round pick for Anthony Richardson at all. And again, to your point, I don't know if I'm the Colts that I would do it either. I mean, a 4th-round pick isn't bad.
Yeah, but you used a 4th overall pick. It's too early.
Yeah,
it's too early to give up on that.
You can't think Daniel Jones is going 1 through 17.
Right, that's right.
So I don't think it works to be the club. But an interesting topic to debate. Let's get it to around the NFL. Washington has agreed to an extension with star receiver Terry McLaurin, 3 years, $96 million.
My friend Pete Prisco says at the end of the day, they all sign and they all show up. McLaurin has a deal that's good. Trey Hendrickson's got a 1-year deal. You're probably getting ready to get to that. That's good. Micah Parsons is going to have a deal. They all get a deal done in time.
Did Hendrickson get signed? I didn't see that.
He got a 1-year deal.
He got a 1-year deal from Cincinnati. Okay.
Yeah, so they're all going to sign eventually. Parsons the only one left now, and he will too. So, but the McLaurin deal is interesting. He's got a great young quarterback. He's a young guy. That's probably a good deal all the way around.
The Chiefs are just unbelievable. Did you see Patrick Mahomes playing in the preseason finale and playing for a pretty good bit of time? He completed 8 of 13 passes for 143 yards with a touchdown and no picks for 124.8 passer rating. He also had an 18-yard run. It's amazing that they would risk it, but it pays off, and it will probably make the Chiefs a tougher out in week 1.
Andy Reid believes in that. Doug Peterson, who's an Andy Reid disciple, played Trevor at all the way to the end in the preseason. I think there's some coaches that philosophically, that's how they think. If Frank Reich was still in the NFL, he'd be doing it. Some coaches believe, I'm going to play my guys. If my guy gets hurt, he gets hurt, but I'm going to play my guys and have them ready.
Reports out of Tampa are that the Bucs will cut defensive tackle Desmond Watson, the former Gator, who never lost enough weight to even practice with the team.
Never even practiced in the camp. And listen, it's sad. It's a shame. Dez is 450 or whatever. He's 100 pounds from being able to play in the NFL. The shame is if he could lose the 100 pounds, he'd be a good NFL player. He's athletic. He's tough. He's a really athletic guy, but he's just too heavy. And so I hope for Dez's sake, something dramatic happens in his life and he loses the 100 pounds because that's what it would take.
The Lions are apparently ready to release former 3rd-round pick quarterback Hendon Hooker, the former Tennessee Volunteers star. Frank, would you have any interest in Hendon Hooker if you're a team around the league looking to, supplement your backup position?
I would, as a backup, no, Hayes, I wouldn't. If I'm trying to find, he's never played. If I'm trying to find a young guy in the future and I like this tape, then maybe. But I think when you go get a backup, it's usually a guy that played. Jameis Winston and Joe Flacco are the guys you go get to be your backup. So I don't see him as a backup somewhere. If somebody goes and gets Hendon Hooker, it's because they believe he can be their starter at some point.
Let's get to college football. Number 22, Iowa State upsets number 17, Kansas State, 24-21 in Dublin. Gutsy, 4th and 3 pass seals the win for the Cyclones.
Yeah, it was ugly now. I don't know if it was ugly because it rained. I don't know if it's ugly because, they asked Chris Kleiman, the coach, at halftime, why it's so ugly. He said, well, two pretty good defenses. Well, I hope that's the case because the offense, it was kind of a gross game to watch. Again, high grass, rain, wet, slow, but it was a hard game to watch.
Dan Mullen's UNLV team beats Idaho State 38-31. The game was tied 31-all with 10 minutes left.
The Potatoes led that game for much of the game.
Yeah.
And the Potatoes hung 31 on Danny Mullen. But they won in the end. I told you, I'm more interested in what UNLV does than I've ever been before because I'm curious on how the football coaching era of Dan Mullen will end. Because one of two things. If he's lousy there, he'll never coach again. And he'll be back on TV in 3 years or 4 years. If he's good there, then you're going to look up and he's going to be at Wake Forest or Virginia. And I don't think you're going to look up he's going to be at LSU, but I think he might be at Virginia. And so I'm interested to see how this journey and story ends for Dan Mullen.
Let's get it to golf. The PGA Tour season is over. Tommy Fleetwood closes with a clutch back 9 to secure the Tour Championship at 18 under for his first ever PGA Tour win. Fleetwood won $10 million for conquering the 30-man field at Eastlake, holding off Patrick Cantlay and Russell Henley by 3 shots.
I was really happy for him. I think he's a classy guy. I hated it for him that he let so many leads get away down the stretch. It was really cool to see people like Tiger and so many others that really lauded him on social. I thought it was cool. I'll root I'll root loudly against him at the end of September. But for now, until the Ryder Cup, it was hard for me not to root for him. Now, look, if Scheffler had made a run, it's hard for me not to root for Scheffler these days. But given the way, I didn't want to see him mess it up down the stretch. And I'm glad. And by the way, our friend Lee Smith, he's the one that said for Tommy to win one, he's going to have a commanding lead. He's not going to win one coming down the stretch tied. He needs to have a 3 or 4 shot lead so he can relax, and that's what happened.
Yeah, Cantlay immediately yesterday was just like, oh, I'm going to be the guy who's choking.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Like first couple holes.
Yeah, absolutely. We will get you out on our musical note of the day because on this date, back in 1975, Born to Run is released. Today is the 50th anniversary of Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run album, the Boss's third album, which launched him into stardom. The Library of Congress added Born to Run to the National Recording Registry in 2003.
Probably my favorite album because Thunder Road's on it and Jungle Land's on it and Born to Run's on it, and it's probably my favorite. There's only like 7 or 8 songs on the whole album, but it's probably my favorite album. Well done. Take a break. We'll be back. Stay with us on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Jax is more than a city, beaches, suburbs, or a destination. We're a community that takes care of each other. I'm former Jaguar Tom McManus. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is dedicated to serving you with respect and integrity. From estate cleanouts to furniture and appliance removal, we handle it all. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We're here for you. We're veteran-owned and operated. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
Summer's winding down, and we know you want to enjoy what's left of it. But before you celebrate this Labor Day weekend, plan ahead and know all your options. If you drink, don't get behind the wheel. Instead, designate a sober driver or catch a ride service. And if you are the designated sober driver, commit to staying sober. Celebrate responsibly and remember to drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Summer's wrapping up, and life is picking back up. Early mornings, long days, and a to-do list that doesn't quit. And neither should you. Who has time to slow down due to body pain? That's why there's Aleve to keep you going. With just one pill, Aleve delivers longer-lasting body pain relief per dose compared to other leading OTC-branded pain relievers. Aleve helps keep you moving from sunup to sundown with up to 12 hours of pain relief per dose so you can keep moving and be ready for whatever's next. Use as directed.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine, Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, or Beaver Mitsubishi in St. Augustine. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
How'd you get your money so quick?
Hard Rock Bet's got lightning fast withdrawals.
Almost as fast as Dale Jr. valeting cars at this party.
Man, he's fast.
Hard Rock Bet's fast withdrawals have given me new motivation. Tips are appreciated.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and up and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
This is the final week of Beards Diamond's incredible free finance offer. Hicken here. This week only, make any purchase, spread those payments over 5 years without a dime in interest payments. Not just on engagement rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstone jewelry. Buy now, Pay nothing down, spread your payments over 5 years. Such a smart way to buy, and nobody else can do it. 5 years, 0 interest. You can even finance the sales tax. All GIA certified diamonds are included in this. I'm talking rounds, princess cuts, ovals, pear-shaped, cushion cuts, emerald cuts. You get the idea. Whether you get a $5,000 diamond or a $50,000 diamond, spread those payments over 5 whole years. Get the Beards Diamonds unbeatable price. Pay 0 down, spread your payments over 5 years. Lots of folks are doing this, but time is running out. The offer ends on Sunday and will not be extended. Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center. Shop local, shop Beards.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. 1010
Take.
The 1010 Take is brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter, plumbing, septic, and air conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck, duckduckrooter.com. I will say this about the Jaguars roster. It is a better roster than I thought they would be able to formulate when the new crew got in. Now, listen, in fairness and in full disclosure, I'm always honest about this stuff, Hayes. I thought last year they had a really good roster. I was really excited about the beginning of last season. I thought I said many times about the year before that I thought they were more the 8-3 team that started the season than the 1-5 one that ended, and I was wrong. They were the 1-5 team. We saw it last year. So I'm always the guy that the glass is 3/4 full, right? But I think this roster is better than I expected it to be. There are areas of concern. There's areas of concern at defensive tackle, at safety, a few others, the weak side linebacker, the depth there. But I think it's a pretty darn good roster, all things considered. You're only as good as your quarterback play and how your quarterback develops. I think he has more weapons around him than he's had his entire pro career. I think he's got a better line in front of him than I expected him to have. We'll see how good they are. I'm not going to predict wins, at least not this week. But it's a better roster than I thought they were going to have going into cut day on Tuesday, and that's the 10-10 Take.
Yeah, I think a lot of that I agree with. I will say this, too. I'm starting to think intangibly, like the opening to the schedule really suits them. We talked a little bit about this on Friday, but I'm going to expand on it a little bit more. So you play Carolina in the opener, who gave up 31.5 points a game last year and used their first-round pick on a receiver. So they still are going to be awful defensively. They haven't done enough to correct that. So you open here at home against probably the worst defense in the NFL. So you'd like your chances there. You're then going to go to Cincinnati, who, yes, they just signed Trey Hendrickson, and he'll probably be fine for the Week 2 game, but they're terrible on defense too. So you've got a real chance to open 2-0. Now it expands even further when you look at the Houston game in Week 3. They're not going to have Joe Mixon. The other thing that I like about the Houston-Jacksonville game, Week 3 for the Jaguars, the Texans open at the Rams, Week 1. So Liam Cohen is going to have 2 weeks to look at exactly how Sean McVay went after Houston, what worked, what didn't, and then be able to apply that to his game plan. Because we know it's very similar systems. So that right there, I think, gives the Jaguars a big advantage going into that Houston game. Again, from an intangible standpoint, the game's in Jacksonville. Houston doesn't have their best running back, and they will have had to go up against Sean McVay, who is going to expose things that Liam Cohen's scheme should be able to take advantage of. So, look, can you imagine if this team opens 3-0? I mean, look, this is a hypothetical. Totally understand it's a hypothetical. But if they open 3-0, this city will be on fire. And I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility.
Here's the interesting. I agree with that. I agree. None of those are the NFL are all winnable games. I don't disagree with that. I think it gets tough after that because San Francisco and Kansas City are in that stretch. If they start well, so I don't disagree with you at all. I like the take. I'll also tell you, if they can stay afloat till the last part of the season, stay healthy. What I really like is the last 7 games. The last 7 games is Arizona, 2 against Tennessee, 2 against Indianapolis, home against the New York Jets. That if you can just stay alive until you get that last 7, now listen, they're all hard games. It's the NFL, but in my opinion, the only really taxing game in that last 7 is the trip to Denver. Other than that, so I do the same thing. I look at the schedule. I think the first 3 games are winnable. I think the last 7, it's that stretch in between.
Right.
It's that stretch that involves the London trip. It involves a game against Kansas City. It involves a trip to San Francisco. It involves, there's some tough ones in the middle there. But I agree with you. Look, they'll be favored against Carolina. They'll be a 4.5-point dog at Cincinnati. They'll be, if they split those games, they could come home as a 2-point dog against Houston, right? Or if they win both those games, they could come back favored against Houston, right?
Yeah.
So all those games are in play.
The other thing, too, about that Houston game, I forgot about this. 2 other things that really work to the Jaguars' advantage. The Texans will be on a short week. They play Monday night in week 2. They also play at home, but against Tampa Bay.
Right.
So, again, Liam Cohen is going to have a great familiarity with Tampa Bay's personnel and how they go about, particularly from a defensive perspective, how they go about attacking C.J. Stroud and how that works. So it really sets up well for Liam Cohen and their staff in terms of preparing for the Week 3 game against Houston, because you have what McVay is going to throw at Houston offensively. You have what Tampa Bay will throw at Houston from an all-around perspective, and it's a short week, and the game is in Jacksonville, and they don't have Joe Mixon. I mean, that's a lot for a Week 3 matchup. That is a lot of intangibles to have on your side.
I'll say this. If you're right, let's say they start 3-0. Let's, for the sake of the conversation, let's say they start 3-0. Well, the beauty of that is they come home for a Monday night game that everybody's watching, at worst 3-1.
Right.
So you have a 3-1 Jags against the, 4-0 Chiefs, because they're the freaking Chiefs, right? And everyone's paying attention. That's
a big game.
Yeah, it's a big game. Then all of a sudden it's a big game. Then it's Trevor, Mahomes, it's all that stuff. So it could make it not only a big game in terms of the optics of it, but what an important game that could be then. And you do get them at home.
Yeah, when I say, I mean big game nationally.
Yeah.
Nationally people are saying, this is a big game. I mean, obviously anytime, the Jaguars are in Monday night, that's going to be a huge game here. But yeah, I don't think it's out of the realm. Now I'll say this, and they'll open 0-3, and like they did last year, and the season will be a disaster.
Well,
but hopefully there are at least things as you look at it that really make it easy to find optimism for a quick start.
Football, I mean, all sports are like this. College football is really like this, but all football is like this. The game is so mental, so... and I said this about college teams all the time. I've said this to you about the Gators this year. The Gators have a roster that's not that unlike Georgia's, Ohio State's, and Alabama's now. It's not. But those 3 teams show up expecting to win because that's what they've been doing. They show up the way the Urban Gators show up, the way the Spurrier Gators show up. They show up the way the 90s Knowles did. You're pretty much beat when they get there because they expect to beat you, and you're nervous because you think they're going to beat you. Well, that works in the NFL some too now. If the Jags have this level of confidence when because they win a couple games early, a 3-1 Jags team will play better against a Chiefs team than a team that's struggling. So the more you win, the more you have confidence, the more that confidence helps you to play loose and free and easy. Again, in college football, you see it all the time. I told you, Greg McElroy and I had this conversation in SEC Media Days. He said, that's absolutely right. He said, when I played at Alabama, most of those games were won before we ever stepped on the field because they saw our logo and they saw our colors and they knew we were Alabama and Nick Saban and we were coming to win another national championship. And they were nervous and they played tight because they were playing Alabama, and we played free and easy because we were Alabama. And he said those games were won before we ever played them. I believe that exists in football. That's not a myth. Well, it exists a little bit in the NFL too. Not as much, but a little bit in the NFL too. So if you win some early games, I've been saying this about Florida. People go, how good's Florida? How good's Florida? If Florida wins, if they start 4-0 and they win at LSU and at Miami, and now all of a sudden they think they're good, well, then look out, Texas, when you come in there after Florida's had an off date and you got to play in the swamp, right? Well, the same thing with pro football. If the Jaguars come home to play Kansas City 3-1 with some confidence, 4-0, whatever, that's a different team that they'll play, and it works. So it's going to be a fun start to the season, no question about it. All right, we'll take a break. We got one segment to go on this Monday, brought to you by The Best Bet. We'll have it for you after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Week 1 of the college football season starting on Thursday, running through Labor Day Monday. Ohio State will be hosting Texas in Columbus on Saturday, and the Buckeyes and Longhorns are both the betting favorites to win the national championship this year. Texas, the preseason number 1 in the AP poll and the coaches poll at plus 550. Buckeyes also plus 550. Penn State opening up the season against Nevada. They are plus 650 to win the national championship. The Georgia Bulldogs plus 800. They'll open up the season against Marshall. Alabama on the road to face Florida State. They are plus 900 to win the championship. Clemson is plus 800, and they open up against LSU. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Got a clogged drain that just won't quit? It's time to bring in the pros. Duck Duck Rooter.
I called Duck Duck Rooter for a clogged kitchen drain. They showed up fast and had it cleared in no time. No mess, no stress.
We've seen it all. Grease clogs, hairballs, mystery goo from the deep. Whatever's blocking your pipes, we'll get it flowing again. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule your drain cleaning service. That's 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You've got a lot on your plate. The last thing you need is car trouble. At Maxie's Mechanics, we help you keep your cars, trucks, and SUVs running safely. Visit MaxieAutoRepair.com today for honest service, reliable repairs, and peace of mind for you and your family.
If you're tired of weekend projects turning into weekend disasters, you're not alone. Building a fence isn't as easy as it looks. And let's face it, your neighbor still hasn't fixed his lopsided masterpiece. But Superior Fence and Rail makes it easy. Highly trained professionals, top quality materials, and a fence you'll love for years to come. Skip the stress and call the pros today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Hi, it's Frank Frangie. You hear my buddies Dan and Jeff talk about that great food at Daly's Dash all the time. Jeff loves that Duval, and Dan loves the Boss. And they're right, both are terrific. But I can tell you they have so many excellent options at Daly's Dash. Salads and flatbreads and tacos and quesadillas, you name it. And of course, those fantastic subs and sandwiches. I just had the Italian sub. It is so good. The thing is, Daly's Dash is really committed to their food and committed to making it perfect for you. Everything is fresh, made to order every time. And there's so many Daly's locations in town, no matter where you are, there's one near you. I love to pop in and grab a sub at lunch, or maybe after a round of golf, or maybe even after calling one of those Jags games. There's never a bad time to stop into Daly's Dash and grab that great, great food. So head there today. Take it from Dan and Jeff, or take it from me. They say it's nicer here. It really is. And the food is delicious. Head to Daly's Dash today.
Hey, Jacksonville, DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your National Builder of the Year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% in homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, today on the program, we've taught Jaguars football after the final preseason game against the Dolphins. Thought the Jags looked good, certainly in moments in that game, without playing anybody of significance, really. And then we talked about some of the cuts that will come tomorrow. By the time we're on the air tomorrow at 4 o'clock, you'll have a very good idea of who's on the Jaguars team and who's not on the Jaguars team. We talked about Fred Johnson being traded back to the Eagles. Other cuts we've seen in the news. The Jags haven't announced that Trey Prince, one of the defensive backs, John Wolford, one of the quarterbacks, will be cut according to various news reports out there. We've talked a lot of Jaguars. We've talked a little college football. I'm very intrigued with this Tommy Castellanos because I think he's got a little fire to him. I think he's got a little swag. We'll see if he's good enough to back up all that. But I think Florida State needed that. Florida State needed someone to say we're Florida State, and it looks like they have a clear leader. And we talked a little bit about Tommy Fleetwood winning. And, of course, JJ was kind enough to buy bonos for everybody. And JJ was the loser of the year.
Yes.
And Hayes,
probably the loser of all time, really.
at least of the year. And Hayes went wire to wire. Never lost all year long. And listen,
damn,
I wasn't alive for DiMaggio. I was alive for Ripken. I was alive for Rose. I was alive for the Patriots until they ruined it at the end. I was alive for the Dolphins.
Amateurs.
This might trump them all.
Yeah,
This might trump them all. I mean,
there was the 2001 Hurricanes, the 2019 LSU Tigers, and the 2025 Hayes Carlin.
Yeah, I now think the Miami Hurricanes of 2001 are the second greatest team of all time.
I agree.
The Carlines are first. So
it was
that.
a special year. And it was a privilege going and competing against you gentlemen. And I look forward to next year where I'll probably lose also.
Now, was there even one that you were even close to losing? I can't even remember.
I don't
this one was close. I mean, I thought I was pretty much dead going into the weekend.
But
So it would definitely be this one.
He's right, though. I don't. Now that you say that, of the 7 ones we had, I don't remember, okay, this is the one Hayes might lose. You were like safe. On all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, the NBA and all of them.
The NBA he ran away with.
Yeah, I think you were kind of safe on all. Well, that's because he knows the NBA so well.
Right. I watched the NBA religiously.
Yeah. So, but I'm trying to think. There were really none that you were close to losing.
None that I can think of either. But again, Hovland. I mean, he was dead last on Friday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. On Friday, we were both laughing.
So now I was saying, like, in breaks, I was saying, he's one of the reasons I picked him is he's capable of that 61. And he had a great weekend. He went 67-63 on the weekend. But I mean, I was down 6 shots going into the weekend.
And you just think,
Hovland versus Rory.
Yeah. So
and you assume he's so out of it, he's not going to play hard.
And
but he did.
And the worst part of this, by the way, the people who got cheated were the people of Jacksonville. Because all year we didn't have one of these. There's nothing like a Carline lose their Monday meltdown. And we had none of them.
And I've had some. We didn't have the Masters this year.
That is a shame.
And I have had some prime bad Masters picks.
Right.
So maybe the fact that we didn't do the Masters saved me here.
Okay, well, we're in time.
That's not your course.
What I know is Jacksonville next year needs a Carline meltdown or two. So
I'm sure you'll get it.
Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Rick, the hay is in the barn. The Jags, we'll know the 53 tomorrow. Right. Expecting any surprises?
I don't know if there's surprises anymore, but I think the rookie undrafted edge guys may have made the team, particularly Green.
BJ Green, yeah.
I went through it on Friday, and I said to me that the two that you need to prioritize about keeping on the practice squad was, the fifth back Jackson and the edge there, Green out of Colorado, undrafted. And, I think in both situations, if you do put them on there, you're going to lose them. You got to ask yourself that question. So do you, find a way to keep them on the roster? It's going to be, I think, impossible to keep 5 running backs. But, Green, the second, I think, made the team. based on his performance.
Felt that way. And it's a position where you can't have enough good players.
No,
because that's
for sure.
It's a rotational position. Yeah. You also can play Trayvon inside and nickel some. So, no, you're right about that. So, we'll see. All right, what's coming up?
Just take a look at everything that happened. Really like the fact that it feels like the Jaguars owned their mistake on Fred Johnson. He had weird body language during camp. I talked with some former offensive linemen that just kind of looked at him like he, I don't want to use the word mailing it in, but maybe didn't give the overall effort that was expected. A lot of people thought he was going to win that job. So I like what this organization continues to do. If you're not part of the plan, they're going to get rid of you. And, again, being able to get a draft pick for it's pretty good.
All right, all coming up tonight. Rick Ballou goes into the night, and that happens right now. That'll do it for our program. We'll be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Closer and closer to the start of college football season. We're out here. For Hayes and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So long.